is your darkest fear?
Hey y'all, today we're going to be reminiscing about a game called F.E.A.R, otherwise known as First Encounter Assault Recon. This game was released all the way back in 2005 on PC, and then later ported to the Xbox 360 in 2006, and the PlayStation 3 in 2007. Hey look, there's me around that time. Damn, I'm old. This game does an incredible job of seamlessly melding horror with visceral action. More than once, I felt that tingling sensation creep up the back of my spine. It kind of feels like the love child between Half-Life and X-Files. Even though this game runs on Lithtech Jupiter EX engine, it feels like it could run on the Source engine, and that's what I felt when I played it. Like, man, is this Source? And then you got the spookiness factor of X-Files.
Why did you bring me here?
Back when it first released on Xbox, I largely passed up the game due to other commitments like work, school, and all the other games that released around that time frame. So after talking to some friends and reminiscing on the first-person shooter genre, which, by the way, is my favorite genre, I decided to experience what I had missed out on, and I picked this game up. I had to buy a physical disc copy of the Xbox 360 edition because it is backwards compatible, but only in disc form. So I ordered it off eBay for like 20 bucks, and the disc came in. I plugged it into my Xbox Series X and started playing. Holy shit, this game blew me away. It sunk its claws in deep and didn't let go. Now, be forewarned, this game definitely shows its age. The graphics are somewhat dated. You don't have the 4K 60 frames per second with ray tracing experience. This game is from 2005. Now, there definitely is some noticeable jank with this game, like enemies that materialize downstairs without using ladders. I think this one time I threw a grenade, it got stuck over a guy's body. And then there's also enemies that completely vanish when you obliterate them, like no signs or traces of them, especially in slow motion. I think there's an interview with one of the devs that said they introduced the slow motion aspect of it because they wanted to make the player feel like they were an action movie star. There are definitely parts where it feels like that, and it's badass, absolutely awesome. That slow motion aspect, the ability to slow time around you and move faster than your enemies, definitely provides an awesome tactical advantage, as well as some beautiful, unparalleled kill shots and explosions that I've never seen in any other game. Sometimes the physics can get a little bit wonky, but it's this endearing wonkiness about it, where you shoot enemies and they fly in unnatural trajectories, but it's hilarious and beautiful at the same time. Other than the occasional glitch and bug and the overall jankiness that comes with being a game from the early 2000s, the only negative I saw of this game was the sometimes ridiculously long interval between checkpoints. There were some levels that had really hard parts, and the checkpoint never hit. So you die toward the end and have to restart from the checkpoint beforehand, and face those tough enemies again. However, one of the advantages of having to repeat those tough parts is that you go in knowing what to expect, and you can approach the situation differently, try different tactics, and overall get a better experience out of the game. The weapons in this game are phenomenal. None of them feel underpowered. From the pistol all the way down to the rocket launcher, you definitely feel like they have an impact when you shoot at enemies. My absolute favorite weapon of the game is the VK-12 shotgun, which is undeniably and unequivocally a spaz. And who needs a spa day when you can have a spaz day? Anyway, this weapon obliterates enemies as you blow them to kingdom come. It's such a fun piece of equipment to use. Honorable mentions for a few weapons. First off, we have the dual machine pistols, which are readily available and completely shred enemies. The MP50 repeater weapon, which is basically a repulsor rifle, is awesome and fun to use. It's just not available until the last few stages of the game. The 10mm HV penetrator is like a high-powered nail gun that pins enemies to walls, and sometimes has this effect where it makes them look like they're at a mosh pit and headbanging, and it's really fun to use. That's totally punk rock, bro. And now, runner-up to my favorite weapon, we have the Type 7 particle weapon. This is like a sniper rifle that emits a microwave beam, and when it hits enemies, it instantly disintegrates their flesh and leaves nothing but a charred skeleton. Love this gun. Here now, to talk about his experience with the game, we have my good friend Cory Hanks, otherwise known as Blaster.
Yeah, so F.E.A.R, super interesting game. I'm happy that I was able to recommend it to Colin all these years later as one that was missed and that he was able to enjoy it as well. It obviously does a lot of things well, and it inspired a lot of shooters after it. I think that the AI is something that probably doesn't get talked about enough. I know that reviews glowed about it, but in the years since, it's not something that comes to mind when people remember this game right away. And then also, of course, it's got the bullet time from Max Payne, which gets a lot of love for good reason. Both of those games certainly do make you feel like you're in a John Woo film at times. And the weapons, you know, the guns are super satisfying in that they give you a variety of ways to pulverize your enemies that isn't just always filled with holes from ballistics. You know, sometimes you can use the one penetrator, which is like essentially mounts people to the wall, or later you get the laser gun, which evaporates them down to their bones essentially. It's very satisfying. But all of that, you know, it's a game that I originally checked out when it hit the 360 because I was a big fan of Condemned Criminal Origins, Monolith's other game that had come out as a launch title for that console. And I was aware of it. I knew that it was on PC and that it had gotten good reviews, but when I saw that it was coming to the console, I knew that I was going to wait and check it out there. And as a fan of Condemned going into that game, it definitely did not disappoint. It pulled off my favorite thing about both of those games, which is just the ambience. It feels like you're in a real place in those games, and when the combat quiets down in F.E.A.R, it's got a very similar sort of ambiance and an audio quality to it. Unlike Condemned, though, the environments are not quite as disgusting and repulsive, so it's a little bit more attractive to go through those environments. And this game in particular, I know that I'm not the only one who has thought this, but this game is filled with liminal spaces that feel like an office park that I've been to, or like I had dreamt this game and then played it later, so it's got that kind of deja reve quality to it, which only kind of enhances the X-Files and supernatural qualities of the game. So all in all, can't say enough good things about it. Just a fantastic game. The sequel's not so beloved, unfortunately.
Thanks so much, Cory. Those are great insights. I really appreciate it, man. All game footage was captured from my personal playthrough of this game on the Xbox Series X. Damn near 2 decades after its release, I have thoroughly enjoyed experiencing this game here in the year 2023. I highly recommend it. If you want to pick it up, you can pick it up on Steam for about $55 for the whole bundle. It includes the DLCs and everything. You can get the standalone disc game on Xbox for anywhere between $10 and $40, and then PS3 is anywhere between $20 and $30. I would personally rate this game a 9.3 or a 9.4 out of 10, or for those that don't like decimals, a 93 or a 94 out of 100. Love this game. Now, enjoy some gory slow-mo carnage and shredding of enemies to a backdrop of classical music.
That. We still don't know the extent of the damage.
We haven't been able to get through to anyone since the explosion. What about Alma? What happened to her? What was that sound?
Anyway, I can't emphasize how much I enjoyed this game. I hope y'all enjoyed the video as well. Thank you.